I'd like to introduce Susan Lewis, the managing editor of MadHat Press, MadHat Lit, and MadHat Annual, formerly MadHatter's Review, the managing editor of the whole great organization that Carol left us. She is the author of How to Be Another, coming out this year from Savannah-Barville Press, as well as 5 chapbooks, including The Following Message from White Knuckle Press, At Times Your Lines from Jeffrey Sided Argotist, and Commodity Fetishism, winner of the 2009 Savannah-Barville Press Chapbook Contest. And thank you very much, Susan.
Okay, so here comes one that's a fable. Flash fiction, whatever. It's called Half-Life. One morning, a snowflake made the descent from its parent cloud with some reluctance, as the day was a bit colder than was strictly necessary. Nonetheless, it made the trip without mishap, riding the air currents along with its heedless brethren, coming to rest, finally, on the downy forehead of a dog, whose white fur lacked the absolute purity of the newly minted snowflakes, which dusted it ever so lightly. The snowflake had little time to be flabbergasted by the variety and complexity of shapes and structures crowding these lower elevations, because the dog, standing up and staring with earnest eyes at a woman inside the house, was soon granted entry into an atmosphere of such intolerable heat that the snowflake practically welcomed its own demise. At this point, the woman ran her hand over the dog's snow-dusted head, turning her palm to look at the water droplets that were all that remained of the snowflake and its companions. She examined the moisture on her skin as if she was looking for some sort of sign, a remnant of that exquisite structure, never witnessed or appreciated, and never to be repeated. Then she dried her hand on her sleeve and resumed her own frenetic, multifaceted, and utterly absorbing process of decay. This one is species specific. I'd like to ask a few questions before anyone gets ravished. Those claws of yours, have they grown much since the days of yore? And that beak, apocryphal as mad dogs and Englishmen might or might not be, one can't help worrying for the other crazies, salamanders, for instance, or high-temperature bacteria. Not to mention bodybuilding castrati with voices like angels and feathers to match. Leda, for one, did not take kindly to the swan's attentions. Although one egg must have been a relief to lay, what with such a pretty girl inside pounding down her shell, ready to party. And then there's the way you lorded over your diversions like a dog in false pregnancy. It's all well and good to talk of process, but some of us are interested in results. Okay, this one's called 23 Related Remarks. You can count them. Okay. The inverse of the obtuse can choke you like a noose. There's nothing someone won't say if they can't find the words for it. Try translating writing to a cat. Try translating once. Try explaining what is wrong with sex. The city does not care for me. Even a small city does not care. One idea is a discount word bin. Another variation is a box marked free words. Famous writers could make donations. Also the logorrheic and insane. Even cats and babies could rummage around and help themselves. Sharp words and injurious should not be allowed. After 8 weeks, the average level of discourse per capita could be compared to the baseline. Let's talk now about construction and the government. Don't tell me there's a shortage of tools. Stretch them or water them until they grow. A box has been suggested on every block for complaints. We will give these to the cats and babies. The famous writers can take what's left, then dam the levees or punch them out and let the flooding begin. I'm sorry to be so opaque. The exposition should be crystalline. Maybe everyone should get their eyes examined. Everyone but cats and babies and the criminally insane who might resent being told what to do. Okay, and I'm just going to end with one more parable. It's called Heisenberg's Salon. We're zoning. Whenever she turned her back, the apartment rearranged itself. Each version created a suitable home for another way of life. Seeing no other choice, she struggled to play catch-up. At first, this extended only to the order in which she carried out her usual activities. For instance, if she found the couch under the picture window, she would curl up contentedly, reading Victorian fiction until darkness swallowed her view. On the other hand, if the dining table was there instead, she'd proceed immediately to setting the next meal. Soon, she began to dress in accordance with the changed decor. If the arrangement had a certain bohemian insouciance, she might wear an Indian blouse and plenty of bangles. Other arrangements were more proper, almost formal, or Bauhaus modern, Pan-Asian, or flea market chic. It seemed only right to play different kinds of music accordingly, eat different kinds of food, invite different kinds of friends. Although the therapy junkie she invited to join her for tea in one day's hyper-feminine decor expressed concern about the lack of stability offered by the overly entitled furniture. She agreed more closely with the next day's guest, a tattooed young barista who taught her how to roast her own espresso beans. Right there in her scruffy new hookah lounge of a living room. Openly envious of her mutable lifestyle, he equated it to the joyride of particles in the exciting, multiplicit vortex of quantum indeterminacy. Certainly the version of herself which invited him agreed. By now, she knew better than to believe that any single manifestation of her identity could speak for the others crowding her psyche, clamoring for a chance to stretch out and shine. Thanks so much.